It just says live on Facebook, so I think we have dead air right now.
Well, I mean, it's
There
8
we
in the
go.
morning.
We're right on time.
We
Awesome.
double tap
Yo.
if you're tuning in.
Yo. Yo. I always love to start my videos with that. It's like the 3 tones of yo. Have you noticed that, you guys? I'm always like, yo, yo, yo. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're live on Facebook. We're live. It's Sunday morning. Nobody wants to be up. I don't want to be up either. I'm not going to lie to you. Janejira's on the ones and twos. We've been putting a lot of love, a lot of effort into this. Welcome to the second edition of Autastic Artists Podcast. I'm not awake. I can tell I'm not awake. Woo!
Yes!
Yay!
I did not
Good
get the
morning,
memo.
America!
Fucking Robin. Good morning, Vietnam. Oh, God.
Shout out to Thailand, my country. Woo!
Fuck the police. Got to show off the shirt. I didn't get the memo on the purple shirt this morning. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, your shirt has like a bunch of meaning. So.
Yeah, and all their names are on the back too. We could go there, but I'm not turning around and doing the hokey pokey this early.
You can buy my shirts on Redbubble. This is the Good Vibes Turtle.
We'll get there in a minute. Stop
We'll
rushing.
get there.
You're like Sid. You're premature. You're premature. Stay on
Oh,
course.
dang.
Give it up for my co-host this morning, though, Audra Seasick. How you doing this morning, Audra?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
Are you awake this Sunday morning?
Absolutely. Always awake. Ready to go.
Our guest this morning is a guest for 2 reasons. For part of my being on the spectrum is I feel like I have radar. Not radar, but radar, because I get I know who everybody is. I know that's a horrible way of saying it, right? I was like, but that's the closest I could think of, right? Because I just happen to notice these people, and this person I've been working with and getting along with for a very long time, and I'm a weird person to work with. So when we talked about this topic, and they were like, "I'm autistic," I was like, now it's all making sense. Now it's all making sense. Why we just get along, right? Oh, right. But I didn't even know. I kind of felt bad, but then she kind of felt bad, and she's like, "Are you special too?" Then Audra was like, "Well, I went to high school with him 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure he is." And I was like, "Well, that's fucked up. I've never been diagnosed, but now that I think about it, I grew up to going to portable classes and getting pulled out all the time. So I guess that means I'm a little special."
It all adds up.
That was Dante and I in the portable classes.
If I could say the N-word, I should be able to say retarded, right? I mean, I don't know at this point. So
that's internal ableism. We'll get there.
Yeah, well, that's internal label.
We got a whole lot to unpack.
Oh, shit. Fuck. So give it up for our guest today. A good friend of mine, like a little sister. Give it up for Janejira Damron.
Yes, it's me.
It's you.
Hello.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jane.
Alrighty. I got a sticker line. I got merch. Here it is. I wrote 2 books, but I mostly talk about this one, Picture Us, available on Amazon. I make costumes. I do drag. I'm launching a music channel this year because I'm not going to write my own music because I'm not there yet. But I just got a viola. I play the violin. I'm marginally adequate at piano and guitar. My singing is upgraded from mosquito to handsome sounding mosquito. It's all coming together.
Well,
wow, so that's a lot to unpack right there. So being that this is the show with the artists, that's a lot of art right there.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what is your favorite to tinker with, or do you have hyper fixations on one or the other?
At the beginning of every month, it's like kind of spinning a wheel, and my system just like picks one, and I was like, we're gonna fixate on this for the first 2 weeks and nothing else.
And else, yeah. Got it.
Or we're gonna play games and get distracted. It's one of the two. I just got a PS4. Well, y'all know I'm gonna be distracted.
Yes, PS4 distraction.
Uh-oh, your internet's slowing down on us. There
Just
we go.
applause for me.
Oh, you just said we got a PS4. I was expecting more. I'm a nerd, you know what I mean? I'm a gamer. I was like, that's all you're giving me? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to talk about getting a PS5? Like, oh, jeez.
That's for people with money. Like, I bought this from a friend who sold it at a discount. Like, that's how you get things.
She's learning.
Income.
I hear you. But, I mean, let me ask you this. You know, I always like to start with this question. And I think it's always going to bring a bad mood, a sad mood, but it's kind of where you start is, how long or what age did you get your diagnosis, and what was life like before diagnosis?
I think it was either between 18 to 21. Like that, like time in my life is just all blurred together. It's all just one long continuous unit with some subchapters. I was either starting college or like at the very end of high school, one of those. It's when you're like adult age and they don't take your thing seriously anymore, basically, even though I look like I'm permanently 18.
Yep.
It was such BS. Like I went in, I scored a freaking like 98% on the ADHD test. I didn't even have to study. I did so great. Flying colors. And this lady's, well, first of all, the lady already knew my dad, so there's a little bit of bias right there.
Yep.
Yeah, well, actually, a few years, like so long ago, before that, I was like a child in freshman year, and my dad, who was like the toughest guy, he fought in the Vietnam War and protected his family against a tornado. We were sitting at dinner, and he just started bawling out of nowhere. And I was super freaked out because I was like, something terrible has happened. What is going on? And he's like, I think you have autism. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, why are you all sad? So then a few years later, like before he passed away, I was like,
I'm sorry, I just got to pause there for 1 second because remember Juliana said the same thing. She was just like, everybody said I was autistic, and I'm not autistic. Am I going to die? I can hear her just say that.
It was like this terrible thing, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that he was like ashamed of me or something, and I was like, oh my God. But he actually explained that he thought that it was something that was hurting me, and the thought of something hurting me that he couldn't do anything about is what made him sad, because I'm this little girl. And then that made me all like teary.
I'm not crying.
Crying, you're crying.
Where's that all sound effect? Damn it, Gene.
But then that's why my parents were at odds and ends, because my dad wanted me to get diagnosed so that we could figure out how to take this pain away. But my mom absolutely did not want me to get diagnosed because she thought that I wouldn't be able to get a job because the government would be like, oh, we're going to put this label on you and put you in this special box in this special category, and everyone's going to judge you because ableism, which both of those were true. But as a teenager, I thought they were both like, you're weird and we're going to try to make you normal. And then I was like, no, I refuse to be normal.
No, you're just the usual teenage kid saying, I'm not going to do what mom and dad say. I think that more of the just, I'm not going to do it. You don't know me. You don't listen to me.
My gay alternate self, and there's nothing you can do about it, which is still true.
Exactly.
But then later, I went to the doctor and like a normal like doctor checkup because I have a bunch of other health problems. And then they had my mom like leave, and they're like, so now that your parents are out of the room, is there anything you want to be honest about? And I was like, hey, can I get a diagnosis for like this autism thing? Because I feel like getting it, like knowing for sure that I have it would give me like closure so I can know why I am this way. And then I've never wanted to punch a doctor so hard in my life because this bitch was like, well, I told him, I was like, so my dad thinks that I have it because, you know, he cried and all that stuff. And he's like, well, he's not your real dad, so, you know, we're not sure. And I was like, bitch.
What?
Because even though I'm technically adopted, my dad was there, like, when I was, like, being born and stuff, and he was there, like, they took me in when I was 3. Like, he's been there since, like, before I was born. Like, how dare you? I mean, I know that genetics have a thing to do with it, but like, you don't know me. You can't say that to somebody. Because like my other dad, he died, and then my birth mom just left. Like, bruh, you don't know my story. So,
Right.
and then she didn't even give me like a list.
The other like you're missing out on all these. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, my dad died. My mom left me. That should have been a double.
Sad. Yeah.
Oh,
That's my like tragic anime backstory. But yeah, like the family that I have, they've always been my real family, even though I don't have their genetics, although they do look like me. It's fascinating. And it was so annoying in schools because they're like, hey, let's do family trees and talk about genetics and stuff. And I was like, bruh, I can't do that because I don't know where my mom is. Oh yeah, she came back later in life. It's all kind of good now. We're all kind of on weird terms. But yeah. So that was always weird.
So you guys don't know this. I know the old Jane. Old Jane hadn't said this many words to me in about a year and a half. We start this project. I can't get her to shut the fuck up. So it's okay. It's okay, everybody. Don't think your autistic kid's going to have any problems. Once people understand them, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I had to go back, though. I had to stop and address something because you said you had problems before your diagnosis. What were those problems?
Health problems. So when I was 3 years old, when I was born, the doctor was like, she's not gonna live until she's like 3. She's probably gonna like die. Do you still want her though?
What?
She might have AIDS because both parents have AIDS, so mathematically, that makes sense. And then just constantly, I'd be getting blood tests at the doctor. I didn't know that was a normal thing, but I was okay with it because they would always give me a Band-Aid with dinosaurs on it, and nothing else fucking matters because I had my dinosaur Band-Aid.
You got your lollipop, right? You
awesome.
got your lollipop?
Yeah, it was good, but then I had health class, and then they taught you what AIDS was, and basically all I got from that was you die, and there's no cure unless you have money and you get the medicine and you're like a rich person and you're fine.
I was going to say, unless
you
play for the Lakers, you're good.
But so then eventually, there comes a point in time where your parents have to tell you what your health condition is and why I'm have a iron deficiency and why I'm drinking this weird liquid and why I'm taking all these vitamin things that nobody else is taking. And apparently nobody else always takes blood tests. So my mom was like, so your dad actually died because he have AIDS. And then I instantly was like, my God, bird over. And then she started laughing because she's like, oh my God, you're fine. You don't have it. That's why we kept going to the doctor to confirm that you don't have it. And I was like, oh shit. Wow. I made it. I beat the odds. I didn't die and stuff. Go me.
It's crazy you say that.
Yeah.
It's crazy you say that because, there's two things people need to hear. There's one, the transmission of major diseases like HIV, AIDS, aren't always transmitted to their child, right? Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, right?
They skipped over that part in health class.
Some kids are born with STDs and born that way, and then some kids aren't, so that's the miracle of birth. And the second one that you kind of skipped over and just blew over is that you're healthy.
It's all good in the neighborhood. I only get sick a few times a year, but when I do get sick, it's for weeks, and it makes sense. But now it's all good in the neighborhood, and I do need to point out that I'm fortunate enough to have access to healthcare. But yeah, and I have access to a hospital and stuff. Some people don't have that, and that's a problem, and we need to address it.
Yes. I was going to say, I think what a good point to bring up here from my perspective is that a lot of autistic people have co-occurring conditions, and you'll hear me use that term co-occurring because I don't use comorbidity. It's co-occurring, and it's just part of our trait. You'll hear a lot of these stories about, yes, I was really sick, or I had these other things, and they thought I was labeled with so many of these other diagnoses before they finally said, oh, hey, you're autistic.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Audra's epileptic, right? She can't drive anywhere. She's got a couple others. I'm high anxiety, PTSD, and probably Asperger's. My lack of filter.
Well,
And
that's what
then
makes you.
you laugh about that, but it's So I'm sitting around the cool kids the other day in Portland. I went down to the Portland comedy scene and I got to go to the cool kids' house. I get there and I'm around all these cool people and I'm just a little bit off. Like I'm able to do it, but I'm not able to sit in one group and hang out. And after a while, I'm decided I can't do this conversation. And socially, I start going, they talking about me? They're talking about me.
Mhm.
Or you've got 1,000 things running through your head going, okay, what's that person doing? What does it mean? Is there an underlining message here?
And then I'm even talking to people and I'm like, I'm not really paying attention to them because I'm having.
You're spacing out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking to them. I'm having a conversation, but I'm really watching the other 17 people in the fucking room.
Right?
Thank you.
It's I don't know. The more I talk to people about this show, the more I advertise that we do it. The more people that look at me go, no way. And I'm like, I just look like this. I'm pretty sure Jay can attest like the way I transfer work to her or like, I don't know. A lot of people see their disabilities as something that stops them. When I get in my zone and when we get in our zones, we're kind of unstoppable. Would you agree that like your diagnosis and all this stuff kind of helps us?
Like the thing that people don't really get about disabilities is first you have to understand how it affects you, and then you can't use it as an excuse for like, I absolutely cannot ever do a thing because I can't pay attention. It's like, okay, well, if you have trouble paying attention, you have to figure out what helps you focus and what helps you get in the zone and then work with that. And the problem with schools, though, is that they only have like 1 or 2 methods of like helping you out, and it doesn't apply to everybody, and it's super not fair.
I think that's an important point right there is that, it's a very standardized setting. And here you are, I would call you successful because you're doing something that's, that you love, you're happy, it's a fixation for you. And I don't like that term, but it's just one that we have. I like to call it a passion because if you were neurotypical, they would just be going, oh, you're doing something you like and not your fixation, right? So, yeah, it's your passion. And I love that you get to work around that and actually be successful.
I mean, there are a lot of things I'm passionate about, but it's because I'm able to like fixate on a thing that brings me joy and then capitalize off of it.
Oh my God, I swear to God, Janejira was raised by some black women. I promise you, she be snapping, moving, girlfriend.
Yes. All right, I have a question. So who has been the most impactful and influential person in your life?
Ooh, there's so many people.
Okay, you can name 2 then.
The first person I have to give a shout out to my dad that raised me since day one, because what he would do is he would just brag to frickin' everybody. No one asked, but he would brag to them about how my daughter, she taught herself how to make her own animations and she teaches herself all these things. She does it all by herself.
Yes.
And like that's the ego boost that like I needed, because to balance it out, I have an Asian mom, and oh man, feeling good enough. Who? I've never heard of that. That was so freaking difficult because it's just like all that matters is that like I get a job and stuff. Happiness? No. It's the money.
It's the money.
But my dad was all about like it's all about what makes you happy. Like one time, he was
where's your dad from?
Arizona.
Arizonans don't talk like that.
Well,
that's down south. God damn it! Work on your accent.
From a lot of like south, like he traveled around like so much. So my dad had like more of a south accent, and then my mom's got the Asian accent. So then I figured out how to imitate both, and then mine sounds like this. I don't know which one I have. I feel like it's both.
No, it's neither. You have this Seattle boring and just regular accent. You don't sound Asian. You don't sound, if I caught you on the phone, I wouldn't be like, that Jane's definitely from China. I'm telling you.
Thailand.
Actually, I have, when it comes to phones, I have this like white customer service voice. It's like, hello, how may I help you today?
Oh.
It's
That is very pleasing.
Oh, I had the, hi, thanks for calling Seattle Specialties. My name is Mike Barber. How may I help you today?
Right. Hi, I'm normal because I had to pretend to be. Are you going to buy that or are you going to leave?
Wow. See, that, again, masking at its 100% right there.
So let's bring up masking because we talk about masking. I was talking about how I'm starting to act and get acting roles. And I was like, it's just like masking.
It's a big game.
What did I do? I haven't. Think about, like, it's like analyzing. Like, if I saw a 50-year-old black guy, how would he act towards me? We analyze people and take it. Like, I feel like autism and being on the spectrum and these high anxiety things, a lot of these mental health issues turn you into a robot. And
you have to pretend how to be a functioning normal person.
Yeah,
blend in with everybody.
Yeah, you scan your perimeter, right? You're accessing everybody's social level, right? Oh, they're highly functional. They're important people. I'm gonna be quiet now.
Social cues detected.
Social cues detected.
Right. I think that's the fun part now is being the leader of the Weird Kids Club, I guess, is what I am, right? I'm the king of the Weird Kids, right? And getting us all together.
That deserves an applause.
That deserves some applause, right? But getting people together so we can be more than just a fringe group, I guess. Like, we have a voice, like, we get together. I don't know, like, it's weird. You've been around some of us, Janejira, when we've had shows, and it's a different vibe when you got a whole bunch of nerds together. Like
yeah.
Now let's get on the interview. I know we've been having fun. There's actually some stuff you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, and I graduated film school and stuff, so obviously we got to talk about media and the depiction of people on the spectrum, the hits and the misses.
Oh boy, this is a big topic.
So I don't know how people don't know about this because it made me cry when I first heard about it. So there's a show called Girl Meets World. If you watch Boy Meets World, Corey and Topanga got married and had kids. The kid is what the show is about.
Yep.
And I don't know if we remember Mr. Farkle Meekus. He also had a kid.
Mr. Dinkus.
Yeah. Yep. Well, actually, the kid's name is Farkle. Because that is the name they chose, which is funny. So there's this episode where all the kids take this, like, one of those generic, like, career test things, and they do your IQ and all that jazz. And then they're like, Farkle, you're so smart. You're such a genius. Even though we already know this, you might be on the spectrum. And all the adult figures were like, we think you may have autism. And then everyone is like, what is that?
See, we need to cue the sound effect.
Oh, you didn't do the sound effect.
Yeah. They basically explain that it's like this disorder, and then of course the friends are like, you don't have a disorder? Like, that doesn't make sense. You're just, kind of weird. You're you. And they're upset because they think that he's going to be taken away. Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, because you're so smart, do you want to go to this, like, specialized genius school? You'll be happier there. And he's like, yeah, but then I won't be with, like, my normal friends. And that's the main conflict. That's the thing that they care about. It's not about whether or not you're on the spectrum.
Hold on, let me interject there. I spent my whole first 6 years of school going to different schools trying to find somewhere I could socially fit in and academically fit in because of that. I was in portable classes till high school, and then I was a sophomore as a freshman and taking calculus and got the fuck out of there. Like, yeah. I guess for me it was a disappointment. I wanted to be one of the kids who was in college at 12 or 13, and they held me back.
Yes, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, when I transferred into Highline, I was supposed to be in Trig as an 8th grader because that's what I tested in at Ingram, and they brought me back down to geometry. Well timed! Right. And so we think about these kids, and like there's a black girl who just graduated college at 12, I want to say, or whatever, or just got her master's.
Oh, I read about that.
Here we
Yeah.
go, 2 for 2, right?
Yeah.
But these are the things that people don't understand about how, if you're honest, Doogie Howser probably had autism. If you think back to the character, this young 16-year-old kid who's already a doctor and has no social interactions but knows how to perform surgery and understand in the catalog, those are all hints of the mental thing we have. But I don't know. I mean, you're trading computer processing speed for social awareness. The faster the computer processor, the less the social awareness. Fuck, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right? I can be smart. I'll just have a hard time talking to people.
I love it.
Right? But I mean, it's the same idea. I can be a gas efficient car, but I don't run fast, or I run fast as hell and run out of gas in 3 blocks. I mean, that's kind of like us, we lose
Take your poison.
Yeah, you get it. We're like luxury automobiles, baby. How, you know what I mean? But I know we talked in your survey, you did a survey, and you said writing has helped you make sense of feelings and how autism has contributed to that process. What did you mean by that? What was
Yes. First, I gotta finish up the Farkle story. At the end of the episode, it's okay. He's not on the spectrum, but this other person who's very obviously on the spectrum, like you can tell straight away by the way she talks, she's on the spectrum, and then she's like, oh, well, if you're not on the spectrum, like if that you were, does that mean we can't like hang out? And all the friends are like, yeah, we can still be friends, our differences don't matter. And that's like the whole moral of the episode, is that it doesn't like 100% define you, and at the end of the day, friendship's all that matters. And the friends were so supportive and sweet. They're like, oh, we actually like did research so that we could understand autism because, our friend might have it, so we're trying to be good friends. And I was like, this is a show targeted towards kids. And how are we not talking about that really good representation?
Yeah, why is this not in the media? We always hear about things like what's the recent ones we talk about, like The Good Doctor. We talk about Atypical. Sia is currently House. Sia's currently in the music. I know, very very bad representation. So why are we not talking about the good ones like Girl Meets World?
They had
one. I mean, it got canceled. But,
Didn't they have one on Sesame Street too? One of the kids was supposedly autistic.
Yes, Julia the Muppet. But that got bad. It got bad representation because of who the person who created the character, Frank Campagna, is actually a blogger. Also goes by the Autism Daddy, and his kid is cool. I like his kid. I did follow them, but got bad reputation. Why? Because they were associated with Autism Speaks. Well timed. Love it. Thank you.
We do not support them or stand.
Why not? I don't know. Let me ask you a question.
I'll let Janejira explain that.
It's those are the type of people that think, oh no, autism doesn't have a cure. It's a tragedy. It's a sad disability that is so hard on families. Shut up, Autism Speaks.
Thank you. No. I don't need to be cured, and I don't need your money because you're not even giving it away to the families who need it.
Exactly.
I feel like we just opened.
Oh, you opened Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And this is all I was going to say is I've been this tight for a long time. So when I look at you guys are smaller, shorter. Most of the people I meet on the spectrum aren't these physically advanced, large things, right? And so I'm mad at the way she's giggling so hard at this. So I've been inside since like 5th, 6th grade. I've always been huger than everybody else. Transitioning between schools, I'd go and they'd be like, "Are you the teacher?" And I'd be like, "No, you stink." You know what I mean? We're talking 4th, 5th grade because I'm 5'9" already. So
he was always taller.
Yeah. So a lot of these things, like, I didn't get to deal with. So, like, being deaf and finding out I'm deaf late in age and that I have anxiety and I have all these problems. I've just been navigating life without worrying about them, right? So when I hear some of these causes, like when we brought up love on the spectrum, And some people are like, "Oh, that's a shitty representation." And I was like, I'm crying over here. I was identifying with people, and I guess my point is these autism, anxiety, ADHD, they affect people in such a different and broad way that it's hard to get a blanket representation. And so I only say that to you because for a lot of people, Autism Speaks may be their life, and it may not be true. But for the right side Republican, my kid's damaged person, who I feel is mostly the person who's going to feel that way, right? That's the reality. And I think I'm not going to condemn this organization because we don't all agree with their story, but I'm pretty sure there are some people they are helping. Even if it's only 1%, Audra, that 1% would scream, damn, her eyebrows went up like I don't even think it's that son of a bitch.
Okay, so I'm not going to disagree or agree. What I will say is there are other organizations out there, and if anybody is watching who would like more information about that,
There we go.
Happy to give you some organizations who contribute directly to autistic people.
That's just a better answer I'm looking for. I don't want to be the guy fighting.
I'll
they won't come after the black guy. They won't even notice you. That suit man, the son of a bitch. We gotta get him. Cancel him.
You're right. If you're gonna send hate mail, send hate mail to me, Audra Sisak. I'll take it.
You're killing me. Let me ask you, how has writing helped with your feelings and your sense of?
Yes. So basically, when I was younger, of course, I had to deal with grief for the first time because I found out that my birth dad passed away when I was in fourth grade, fourth grade, one of those. And then I also had like my first crush, which led to my first mega rejection because he thought I was a freak, which fair enough, I was pretty weird.
You
did not know how to approach him. I kept sending him the weirdest emails.
Hold up, you were sending him emails?
Emails?
That tells me you're autistic a little bit. That doesn't even sound, you sound like Sheldon. Like I sent her an email. Was properly, I had a proper subject line. There was an introduction. Yeah. There was a you're horrible. You know this. It doesn't sound right. You know that, right?
Right? Yeah. So I don't blame him for not liking me back. But as an 11-year-old, I did not know how to deal with that. I also just had like such an intensity to feelings. I straight up was just like, I love you. I don't know what that means because I am so confused. And then I also I was into like spies and ninjas and stuff. And I realized that I can't be those things because I would have to go to a lot of college and be athletic. And I was not feeling like doing that, especially at such a young age. And I was like, no, I just want to do the cool stuff. But I can be a writer and write about myself being awesome and also write about a version of me that is able to process everything. Or I could write about a world that doesn't make sense without me to save the day instead of feeling like I'm the only one that doesn't make sense. So I started writing the JNS Adventures, and it's about a futuristic world where I get to save everybody and everything makes sense. And then I would put my crushes in it and have an alternate universe where it's okay, if I had more toned down feelings that are easier to deal with and you were way much nicer, this is how it would all play out and this is how we would save the world. And then I grew up and I looked back at it and I was like, wow, younger me, you needed so much therapy. Yikes.
Whoa. Well, so
I'm hearing you and I'm hearing my daughter. My daughter, I think you guys have all seen her at one point or another via film in real life, and she loves to write. And I'm like, I get it now. She's probably expressing all these feelings and all these different things. And she's like, no, Dad, you can't read my books. And why can't I read your books? I want to read your books.
Exactly. Those are hers.
I can't read her books. Is this why? Fuck you guys. I still want to know what's going on with her, right? But I was just like, why can't I read your books? What's up? What's wrong, Buttercup?
Those are her thoughts. Oh.
Daddy wants to participate in your feelings too, right?
Right?
let me ask you, did you do like any of these crazy sitcoms and pass around your book? And next thing you know, because like, I don't know, have you ever seen Big Mouth, the anime show about
I love Big Mouth. Oh, so who was your favorite character on Big Mouth?
I forgot all the names because I've only seen a few episodes. Although that one goblin that just represents like horniness and stuff, that was just me throughout high school.
Would they eat the hormone monster?
Were you the one that was drooling on himself? The other one.
What are you gonna do, man?
That guy is so hilarious. Hey, sometimes you gotta get what you gotta get, man. Come on. And you're like, no.
All the bad decisions.
My favorite one is the little black girl because it just reminds me of so many women that you meet as you know what I mean. You're like, hey, what's up? And you get her back home, and she's like, I got dildos, I got anal beads, I got all this, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? I can't remember the black girl's name on the show, but like she loses it, and there's her evil side, and she's cussing and being nasty and grabbing asses.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was just a shock to think like women think about sex. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, that was you in high school. I heard what you said there.
I've had conversations about sexuality with my guy friends, and some of them were just so shook, and they're like, what? Women, sexuality together in a sentence? What? I was like,
Yes.
yeah, bro, this is a normal thing.
And an autistic woman, actually, or non-binary or male even, has sexual feelings. The audacity.
Amazing.
What's your current project?
Yes. So I'm rebooting the JNS Adventure series. Sometime in college, I did a more finalized, cleaned up version and have the characters a lot less like me. But that was badly written. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it way better this time.
That was horribly written. I love how you said that.
Yeah, there was a lot of surprisingly underlying homophobic terms and stuff like in the original, and a lot of internalized misogyny that I did not realize was there before. And I was like, oh, I got to pull this from the shelves.
But no way, you know, let's pin there for a second though, because as a comedian and as a producer, that's something I've had to work on, like being more woke. I came from, you know what I mean? I was married in Covington, and I don't think we had a lesbian. We might have had like one lesbian family in the whole community, you know what I mean? Just one. You know what I mean? We didn't have any transgender people. I wasn't talking about alternative lifestyle, and then I got thrust into the comedy scene. It was, hello, hi, him, her, shit, fuck, and I say, ma'am.
You're in Seattle, bro.
Yeah.
You're thrown into the most rainbow state.
Yeah, I was saying, ma'am, it's not ma'am, it's sir. Okay, sir, fuck, I don't know, fuck it. Oh, don't say it, don't say it. So yeah, I learned. So yeah, like, all right, But go ahead. I mean, expand on that. It's not so much even something that was part of who you were, but
originally. So like in middle school, like I was introduced to the term like bisexual, and I was shocked because I was like, oh, there is a word for how I feel. This is amazing. What else is happening? So I yes, and then I realized this whole time everything made sense, and I was like, well, that explains why I also liked girls. Wow, I thought I was straight. Amazing. And I
feel like, wow, that can happen. Yay.
I thought I was cisgender. Wow. So fake.
Yeah.
Pretending to be somebody else this whole time. Wow. And then I found out I was on the spectrum and was like, wow, I thought I was not like neurodivergent. Oh, wow. So much to unpack. Yeah. But yeah, I was introduced to all this stuff. So I knew all this time. So then I was like, well, now that I know that I'm all these things, I think I'm able to represent it correctly. Am I right? And then turns out I kind of wasn't, because then I was like, okay, you have to have gay characters in your media and have diversity and stuff. And I had this mentality of, if you have that token gay character and highlight it, then it's like, that's good enough. But no, that's not people don't want the whole, this is the gay character, you're welcome. It's no, we just want great characters that happen to be also people of color, also different shades of queer, and different, like,
Hold on,
have
time out.
disabilities.
What does that mean?
Because it's a rainbow.
No, help me out here, because I'm the prude. I don't know all these terms.
LGBTQIA.
What's queer? No, I get that. Fuck you, goddammit. Let me tell you where I need you to start. We're not going kindergarten here. He's third grade. I'm just trying to get you. A lot of people out there are going to be like me. What do you mean by queer? Is what I mean. What's that term? How does that?
I think queer kind of just describes like it just describes everything. It's kind of the umbrella, and then all the specifics are like underneath it. So basically, if you're just like non-straight and hetero, and then queer also is just like, I'm not sure where I am, what my label is, but I know it's not like straight cis, so I'm gonna just say I'm queer. That's my placeholder.
It just means that they're into whatever happens to come their way. That's what they like. Yeah.
Plus, there's like so many different labels and terms to choose from. Sometimes it feels like overwhelming, and it's like, I cannot pick one.
Oh, Janejira and I already had this conversation.
Further expand on this. So let's go ahead. Let's hear this. Let's work this out. So, what do you mean by that? What was the conversation?
Because I was a little confused myself, because there is, in some communities, even in the sexual orientation community, the LGBTQ, QAI community, and the autistic community, they have now almost started to eliminate the term bisexual sometimes. And I'm starting to, and I know Janejira has said the same thing, almost starting to feel like you're non-existent, because everyone's starting to use the term pansexual or queer, which I'm 100% okay with. It's just, for me personally, like Dante has said before, it's whatever your preference is. And my preference was bisexual. That's what I grew up with. And so Janejira and I had this conversation about, are we non-existent now? Like, what's happening?
The question was like, are bisexuals going out of existence? And I just got my megaphone and I was like, we are not going anywhere, bitches. We're not
here.
Be silenced.
Sorry, we're out of bisexuals. We're not. We don't make those anymore. We're out of stock. We don't have parts for those anymore. You better not need a new hip, because we only have pansexual hips.
Still here.
We don't have bisexual hips. We only have pansexual hips. You're gonna have to take a queer arm. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, at least
it is what it is, man.
I know we have some things we want to do. I want you to do the lightning round. Da, 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 da,
da. Da, da, da. Lightning round.
And explain what the lightning round is, Audra.
Lightning round. Getting to know Janejira. And it is just going to be some what we call socially appropriate questions. Ha ha ha, for those neurotypicals out there. And then I will also ask some more relevant questions for the autistic community, and there's not a lot. I do about like 30 seconds worth. So ready, set, go. What's your favorite animal?
Squirrel.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
I don't have breakfast food, but eggs are cool.
Okay. What's your favorite book?
Mine.
Yes. What is?
Ooh, that is a shame plug. That is a shameful plug. That was fucking horrible. What's your favorite book? Oh, mine. It's on sale. Amazon.
Actually, Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan made me cry. Amazing. Love story. All the gay. Amazing.
I was going to say, I actually like that book too.
Boy Meets Boy. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Ooh, favorite movie. The first thing that comes to mind, A Warm Body, starring Nicholas Hoult. Oh,
what the fuck?
I loved it so much. And then what was the other part of the question?
TV show.
TV show.
Oh, so much. I'm gonna have to say Community.
Oh, thank you, Ahmed. Yay.
Ahmed.
Okay. Favorite dinosaur?
Ooh, it's a tie between the T-Rex and the Plesiosaurus.
And now we get into the more autistic questions. What is your favorite stimming activity?
Ooh. When I'm super in the zone and super stimming, I do that thing where I like rock back and forth a whole bunch, and I'm like, is this stimming right now? I feel like it is.
Yes, it is. That is stimming. Love it. So you like the moving. And my favorite question to ask, what is the most ridiculous thing has been said to you as an autistic person?
Ooh, get ready. So I'm out here trying to get my diagnosis as an adult, and this bitch is just like, well, I think you're just childish because my backpack is pink. That's your professional diagnosis, that liking pink is a childish trait? Wow. Can I get someone else, please?
Okay, so that has got to be the worst one I've heard yet.
Right.
Oh, and then of course we have to find out the last one. What is your favorite potato chip?
Yes. Okay. So when you go to the store, there is this purple bag. It's Hawaiian chips. I don't know if they're authentic or not or whatever, but they're like onion flavored. It's like my version of crack. I'm addicted.
Tim's.
Yes.
Maui
Okay.
onion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just call them the purple chips. That's just what I call them, which is ironic because everybody who knows me personally knows that my number one arch nemesis is purple oatmeal.
Purple oatmeal. That must be this.
That's the
It's actually
raisins and
blueberry.
brown. Oh, blueberry.
But if you have eyes, you can see that it's clearly purple.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, FYI, if you ever move to the East Coast, you will never have those chips over there.
So I find it funny we're all on the spectrum, and somehow all of us have the same favorite color of purple. Is that coincidence? I think not.
I have a reason for liking purple. It is because purple represents epilepsy and neurology, like the brain, and purple also represents the mixing of red and blue, which to me represents men and women. So for me, it represents my bisexuality.
Same. I mean, that's more for my gender, but also I love purple because it's royal, and I identify as a prince because I can't I don't like calling myself a princess because growing up, my mom always gave it this really negative and angry connotation. So being a princess, it just brings back all those fights and stuff. So I was like, I could be a prince. Plus, princes kind of get to do more things in the movies that I saw growing up. Like they got to ride a horse and fight dragons, and I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do.
What's in Big Mouth? What they call him, Estacio or whatever that guy's name is that rides the horse. Yes, that's what you need.
I can't deal with you guys. Where do I start on these answers? So, squirrel.
Yes. Because
that's not even a fucking animal. It's a pest. But go ahead.
I was obsessed with
No,
ninjas.
let me say why. Hold on 1 second. Because her dinosaur is a fucking T-Rex and a plesiosaurus, two of the biggest things but her favorite animal is a little ass fucking squirrel. So please pick up where you left off, man. Why a squirrel?
So when I was younger, I still have my fixation on ninjas. And I had this idea that squirrels would make good ninjas because they're fast and they climb trees and stuff. And then I was like, well, I'm a ninja and squirrels are really cute, so squirrels are my favorite now.
Do you hide nuts in the backyard?
No, I just eat them.
We haven't seen Sid in a while. I don't know. Where's Sid at?
Right?
She took his nuts and put them in her purse. What is the movie Warm Bodies? I have no clue.
My God.
Both
Okay,
you guys
so
lost your shit.
It's also a play on modernist Romeo and Juliet, but kind of with zombies. So basically,
it is though.
His name's Julie. His name's R. The boyfriend's name is Perry. There's a balcony scene in case. Yeah. So the amazing Nicholas Hoult plays R, which is a zombie who he's dying obviously, but he still has consciousness and he still has feelings and he still has remorse. And then he falls in love with Julie, who's trying to kill zombies, but also she's about to get killed, and he saves her from the other zombies. And she's like, zombies
let me guess, this is some white people shit, huh?
Probably.
There's no
Yes.
black people.
Just
in
answer.
this
Yes.
There's no
yes.
black people in this movie. I'm hearing the
There's one,
theme.
but she's a zombie.
No token black person in this one. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they fall in love, and R finds himself becoming like human again and coming back to life. But also Julie's dad is like, we gotta kill all the zombies. And then Julie's like, no. And yeah, it's romantic and it's zombies at the same time.
That is some cool shit.
I say the movie's realistic because there's not a lot of black people in there, meaning black people were smart enough to avoid the zombie apocalypse. So I definitely approve. That shows how white people are, right? Like, we're killing each other and falling in love with a zombie. That's not the most whitest shit I've ever heard. Oh my god. So we're talking about...
I always like to say that if there was a noise in the house, Dante would be the one to probably run away, and I would be the one to go, hey, what was that noise? And look at it.
Yeah.
About 60% of the time I'm going to look. 39% I'm going to run.
If I encountered a zombie that looked like Nicholas Hoult, I'd be like, well, guess I'm going to die now, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell
beautiful.
Sid you like white guys, you fucking traitor.
Well, he already knew that. He already knew that he's the first Asian I've ever been with.
Wow, we're learning a lot on this. Jesus Christ.
I feel like I'm a minority within a minority, because when people think of Asian, they don't automatically think of Thai. They're like, oh, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. And I'm like, nope, you're picking the countries around mine.
Then they'll
Keep
go,
going.
The Philippines, Indonesia, India. You're like, still other side, right? You're closer.
Yeah, it's so fucked. The thing that aggravates me, Taiwan. I'm like, bitch.
I can only understand, like, there's I made my joke about being Mexican and speaking Spanish. You've heard Macton. Somebody was in the group, and I was like, don't be mad. The Mexican guy is laughing. He might not even be Mexican. He might be El Salvadorian, Ecuadorian, Argentinian. They're not all the same thing. And they started laughing, and then I had a white guy, be like, yeah, I'm mixed. I'm Spanish and Portuguese. And I was, bitch, you're European. You're white and white. Like, Spanish, that's white and white. That's not... Fuck off. Fuck.
That's so weird, because I can't look at you and be like, yeah, European. Like,
you don't see European here? You know, I'm third generation Norwegian Swedish, you fucks. Like, I can chase that.
With how tall you are, I can see the European. Trust me, that you're a tall guy.
Yeah, sure you know. What's that, Boots?
Sure you know.
Like some Swedish dumplings, yeah. And some Gilda fish. Would you like some Gilda fish? Oh god, we're having too much fun.
the hard part about when I went to Asia is that I'm super white, so people, think I blend in. So they speak to me in their native language, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I speak
no
English. I can understand it, but I can't speak it back and have conversations. So I'm just like, putai mai dai.
Oh,
But then I hear you talking about me, and then I'm like, but I heard that.
You're a bad Asian. They're gonna be funny.
I mean, I used to not like rice, so I was like, well, I'm already failing.
I don't like fried chicken, really. I mean, I like it, but I don't like eating it off the bone. I'm learning, like, I'm a bad black person, too. It's okay.
I like rice, I like fried chicken. I think we traded.
Hey, you got a point. I love me some fucking rice. Well, do you got anything else for her? I mean, we've been about an hour. We've got about there what you have. Did you check off your whole list there, Audra?
Yeah, I actually just wanted to, say, so we've got, as far as your merchandise and things that projects you are working on, we've got your sticker lineup, your drawings. If you do follow her on Facebook and Instagram, awesome. I do watch, she does awesome drawings.
What are those, by the way?
So my art Instagram is called Janejira Draws. And for those of you who are just listening, my name is spelled Janejira, and then Draws. And then my author Instagram is just my name, Janejira Damron. And then my cosplay is Prince Peachful.
Let's talk about that. Are those all your social medias?
Yeah, those are all the ones that matter.
Let's talk about that for a second, because you do a couple things that we didn't bring up, we didn't talk about. So you do costume design and you do cosplay. I know we're in Comic-Con Central, so we know what that means. Not a lot of people are. some people may need help with costumes. So tell us a little bit about that and what you do.
Regular costume design is just, making costumes and stuff. Cosplay is a play on costume and play. It's mostly character based, and you're bringing characters to life like Sailor Moon and stuff. But it's not just like a Halloween costume. It's you kind of want to focus on character accuracy or how you interpret the character. It's way more detailed, and usually the materials are a little more higher end than costume satin, which none of us like.
Nope.
Because it's so shiny and it looks bad in pictures. It's so magical. There's a whole community. I got into it it's part of the anime community also, and that's how I got into it, because I was into the anime community, and then they're like, hey, you can make costumes and stuff. And costumes have also been my life, because I'm a Thai dancer, so I know what it's like to be sparkly and beautiful and magical and take forever to put something on. It's because I was taller than everybody. I had the male Thai costume, and it takes an hour to put it on.
Yes, it does. I saw the pictures and I was like, I felt weird. I was like, I didn't know she could do that. And she looks all ladylike. Whoa, all right, I see you, Jade. All right.
Yes.
It looks good. Yeah.
Stage makeup and everything. And then cosplay is just that, except you get to make the costumes and do everything yourself. And I was like, oh my God, I need to get in on this. And then it also helped me understand my own gender fluidity, because you can change up your gender and like do drag and stuff. And I was like, oh, I can be as handsome on the outside as I sometimes feel on the inside. Oh,
that is amazing.
Yes.
I laugh at the way because I don't ever feel handsome on the inside.
I think she's very handsome. I would love. I need to go on there and see
everything.
Yeah, I need to see like this drag now.
One of my favorite costumes is the Little Merman that I did, because that was my first time fully embracing drag. Oh, and then here's a really sweet story. So there was this super handsome girl, they were in drag, that I was crushing on, and there was this drag show event that was happening where you could just get up on stage and do literally whatever. It's kind of a talent show. And obviously I was like, I'm going to impress this person real quick, even though I don't have any like coordination when it comes to regular dancing, but I'm just gonna put myself out there and do my best. So I got on stage. I had a sore throat, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna sing because that's gonna be a nightmare. So I was like, okay. I'm gonna lip sync Bohemian Rhapsody and just get into it. And I jumped off the stage and into the audience and danced around the crowd, and then there was a chair on stage, so I was like, guess I'm Beyonce now. And I was just like, yeah.
Oh, lemonade that, yeah.
And I was like, wow, didn't know I could do that.
This is the part of the show where I keep my opinions and my thoughts to myself, and I don't get canceled. That's how.
Right.
That's our goal at this point, right? We go by the Autastic Artists. We use the word autastic. Go ahead.
Yes. It's a combination of the word autistic and fantastic. So I was at a convention, and there was a panel for people on the spectrum. People are sharing their stories, and me wanting to be the center of attention. They were like, if you want to come up and raise your hand. And I was like, excuse me, hello, I've got some thoughts. So they called me, and then I went up and I spoke in the story about my dad in front of everyone. And I was like, you guys, I want to give the word autism a more positive connotation, because, I think that this is great. Everyone that I've met on the spectrum is fantastic. So I think instead of saying that, you're autistic, I think that you're all autastic. And then everyone was like, hold up, let me get the sound effect.
Oh. Yay!
That's where that came from.
Love it.
And we just, as a collective group, we just went with the name. We're like, yeah, it's Autastic. That's Autastic as well. That's fantastic. Yes, that's yes. Snap, snap, snap. Where my black girls at?
And then I made friends after that, because two dudes from the panel came up and they're like, hey, we saw you at the panel. Do you want to hang out? And I was like, yay, friendship.
Oh,
we love each other now.
You're late on your sound effect. Oh. we've had a blast here. We wanted to get Janejira in and out because she's going to be one of our hosts. She'll be co-hosting. Sometimes she'll be in for Audrey. Sometimes all three of us will be here. So make some noise for Janejira Damron.
Yay!
Make some noise for our co-host tonight, Audra Cisa.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, I'm your host, Suitman Productions.
Wow. Give it up for Suit Man.
We're doing a little bit. We're trying to, like my shirt says, if you didn't know, fuck the police.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a good ending. Thank you for coming. Love all you guys.